This is the Division 2 Battle for Brooklyn. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So I thought I'd do a review after finishing up the Battle for Brooklyn DLC, kind of give you a little bit of a context on the overall experience and in general, specifically what this expansion kind of brought to the game. This has been a really interesting sort of time basically since the launch of this game. Like, we got the Division 2, and then they added, content, seasonal stuff over time. It's been several years. There was the Warlords of New York DLC. That was the time when I covered that back when it launched. And then, yeah, this would basically, I guess, technically be the second main DLC for this game. And it should, in theory, lead towards the Division 3. You would think so. So, yeah, definitely an interesting kind of thing to do with this. It takes us back to an area that's pretty familiar for a lot of people that play, the Division, like the Division 1 took place in New York. And you got a section of that in the Warlords DLC, and then this is the Brooklyn area. So this area is a lot smaller in terms of, like, what's going on. It's kind of a small piece of land, and most of your gameplay experience actually doesn't even take place in the Brooklyn area. You go to, like, a few areas within the actual Brooklyn space, and then you spend most of your time kind of shooting off to different raid areas. So this is like the environment, and then you've got like 3 spots that you go to that are not even like part of this area. It's just kind of weird because, like, I was playing in a group, and then I went to one of the offshoot areas, which is a main mission. There's like 8, 9 main missions, something like that. And yeah, the player I was playing with was not allowed to play with me, and then I joined someone else, and then I wasn't allowed to play with them. So you kind of have to do it solo, even though it's designed cooperatively, or at least that's what it seemed to be saying, which I found super, super weird. And, like, yeah, it's just kind of a really bizarre kind of expansion. Like, if you're looking for more Division 2, this absolutely delivers more of that. Like, if you're craving more action, like the gameplay, the environments you go to, the set pieces, very, very well done. Cool environments. There's like a museum, there's more sewers, obviously, but some really neatly designed interiors and exterior places that you go to, like a refinery, and yeah, it's actually quite interesting spaces. But, like, a lot of the narrative stuff was sort of nonsensical, and this game sort of made me really question, like, the realism of this world. Like, the Division games, they're, like, slightly futuristic in terms of, like, some of the stuff you get and the gear you have, right? Like, that's kind of been the thing. It's a Tom Clancy IP, so it's, like, kind of futuristic, but tactical, and like, obviously the series is known for being, like, insanely spongy, but, like, I think this is the first time I've felt like I've played all this stuff too in the series, Division 1 and 2, at least I'm pretty sure I have, and yeah, this is the first time I ever felt it was getting cartoony. Like, it felt like it was Wolfenstein, if that makes sense. Like, there's some stuff that happens just in terms of, like, I guess you would say vehicles, and some, like, one of the bosses had, like, a bubble shield. Like, it was actually, it was like something out of, I'd say Halo, but I'm thinking more like Horizon Forbidden West, where you're fighting, like, the supernatural futuristic enemies, and they have, like, a bubble shield for reasons. And then, yeah, it's just like, I was climbing the stairway there to have Vanessa to say it towards the ending. And, like, it was really weird, because like, story-wise, too, I didn't really know who the characters were, which is weird, because like, I did the Warlords, and I guess I haven't done some of the seasonal stuff, so maybe there's been characters introduced over content that I might have missed or something. But I was just really confused as to why I was supposed to care about some of the characters involved. And then it just kind of left things open, and it didn't really seem... Like, from a narrative perspective, it was incredibly unsatisfying. From a gameplay perspective, good environments, cool stuff, more of the Division action that you're probably used to. They didn't really do anything new out of the box. I guess some of the puzzle stuff is like slightly different and you're shooting boxes. I hope it's not an indicator of what they're doing with the Division 3, because I'm really hoping... Well, I guess at this point for the Division 3, I'm really hoping that they're going to evolve the gameplay a little bit more, because like the spongy shooty stuff I think is wearing a little bit thin at this point for me. So I would say the areas you visit are cool, and like I think I finished in like 4.5, just under 4.5 hours or so. So like if you're just kind of running through it doing missions, it's not a bad length, I don't think. The areas are kind of cool. It all sort of works decently well. There was one bug where I couldn't progress, which is fine. And, you know, just like build my character and restart the checkpoint. That was okay. But like my thing is just like from a story perspective, I just really didn't understand why anything was happening specifically. Like it was just kind of like, huh? And then it just feels like it abruptly kind of ends. So it feels like it's more of just you're liking the Division 2, you want to have some more Division 2, here's some more Division 2. Oh, a public execution, lovely. That, you know, really just seems to be what this DLC was. Like, it doesn't do anything different, it doesn't really change things up, but the combat's kind of fun, it's more of the same. Narrative-wise, super confusing. Gameplay kind of introductions on things that they added basically made me feel like I was playing like Wolfenstein, which was really weird. I always thought this was kind of a grounded series. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's not the tactical shooter I thought it was. I don't know what to say in that regard. It was really kind of bizarre that was the direction they took on some of the stuff in this. And then, you know, there's like some environmental things you can do. There was one spot that was kind of like overly difficult with some fire dog things, and yeah, I thought the cleaners would maybe have like a larger role in what was going on. Like, you know, the fire dudes, they shooting fire in that, but not really. I don't know, it was okay. It was fine, you know, it was certainly a playable thing, and I had fun. You know, I was enjoying it. I was having fun with it. There was things to see, things to do. The environment here is cool. You know, it's detailed. It's very familiar too, though, because you know this stuff is all like, this is an area you've already been to. Like literally, the level, I think the opening level was like retreading like the opening. One of the opening level areas from the first game. I mean, like, you know, it's Brooklyn, but, like, it didn't really take advantage of the area at all. Like, there's activities out here for us to do in the open world, but, like, you know, it just really didn't do much with this. Is the safe house on the top? I kind of want the safe house. It feels like it didn't take advantage of the area. Like, it was battle for Brooklyn, but, like, there wasn't really a battle for Brooklyn. Like, the name doesn't make sense. Like, the name sounds cool, but it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't, like, factor into what we were doing at all. It was more like there was a skirmish around Brooklyn, and we were kind of getting involved. like, there was no, like, there's great set pieces, great action pieces, but there was no, like, battle, if that makes sense. So from that perspective, it was a little underwhelming considering the naming convention they went with, but as I said, it's a perfectly serviceable expansion. Like, if you've been playing The Division 2 and you're craving more, this is fine. If you're jumping in fresh, I think you get more out of Warlords, personally, in my opinion. And the main game itself is pretty solid and fine, I would definitely say. And yeah, I think the core game for this is great. They've obviously added quite a lot of content over time. You know, new things to do, lots of experiences to have. And I quite like, you know, the world of The Division, and I think The Division 2 is a fine sequel. I quite liked it, and I enjoy showing it off whenever I can when I'm doing various, you know, video reviews and stuff like that. I think I last checked it out on the PlayStation 5 Pro not too long ago. So for me, this is kind of like, oh, I'm just getting a bit of a treat going on because I get to revisit something that I'm a fan of and get to talk about. Because that's why I kind of wanted to lump it in here and, you know, everything like that. Talk mostly about, you know, firstly, like, I've done what the expansion brings, and then secondly, about the game overall. Like, it's, you know, it looks great. It's neat to play it in a different season, too, if that makes sense. So, like, when this came out, if you're not aware of the Division 2, or, well, the Division 1, okay, so we'll start with that. The Division 1 came out, and it's a snowy area, and really worth playing, honestly. Like if you haven't played the Division 1, I recommend going and giving it a whirl, because I think it's pretty great. Personally, I think it holds up pretty well, too. Especially on Series X, you know, very, very good experience. Got a video on the channel showing that off. Yeah, and it's New York, and New York's kind of fallen in the disease thing and everything like that you're dealing with. And then it's all snowy, it's, you know, Christmassy and stuff like that. And then the Division 2 is a different area, you know, the whole Washington and all that. And then the expansions here basically sort of recycle to a degree the locations and the maps of, like, the Division 1, you know, to make content a lot easier for them to deliver. Which honestly makes a lot of sense to me that they would do that. Like, I get that, you know, you gotta cut down on development time and blah 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 while still providing things. Like, it feels weird, like it feels as though they never really had like a full post-launch DLC support plan. Like, they had content plans and they added like rating and stuff. Like, there's all these dots on the map that I've never seen before, coming back to this game at this point and being like, whoa, what's all this stuff? And like, that's really cool, but it doesn't seem like they had meaty expansions kind of set up, if that makes sense. Like, it's just sort of $7. You know, I saw a hot dog place here in this game in another part of this DLC that was selling it for like $1.90 something, or I think like $1.29. It was like that's cheaper than the Costco hot dog. But here, it seems like regular priced food stuff. You know what's actually crazy is, like, where I am, like, you go to like an outdoor show, or you go to like some kind of like like, say you go to a hockey game or something like that, hot dogs are like $8.50 now. I can't even fathom it. They cost as much, if not more, than like chicken fingers and fries or like a burger. I don't know what happened to society, but society failed hot dogs, and yeah, it's a straight up depression quest. I know that has nothing to do with anything, but like, it's actually been psychologically really bothering me recently, where I'm just like, why are hot dogs so pricey now? It doesn't make any sense, and yeah, I doth not like it. I don't like it one bit. So if somebody could fix the economy for hot dogs, that would be excellent. But yeah, anyways, so it just seems like they didn't have a plan post-launch for this game, and maybe reception-wise and stuff, or launch, like player counts, I don't know, something like that. Ubisoft's usually pretty good for supporting their things long-term. But I'm just kind of like, it seems with these DLCs, like, especially this one being like, what are we, like, at least several years into this game? Like, it's just completely random to release something like this. It makes no sense. Like, it's a good lead-in, in theory, to the Division 3, but, like, I don't think this has anything to do with the Division 3. Brooklyn Controller. 4 control points. Oh, okay, cool. Glad I'm getting some achievements finally. You know, I just spent, like, 4.5 hours playing this and only got 1, but, you know, whatever. Glad that now I'm doing a little secondary video on getting stuff. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's kind of bizarre, like the whole, like this feels like a game, at least that I thought, should have become a lot larger than it did become. And that kind of bothers me. Like, I assumed we were going to see more kind of areas and locations around, you know, the main game, but it just seems like everything we've done here just sent us back to going to Brooklyn, like going to, well, this one's Brooklyn, but like going to New York. That's all it did was like retread the past. Now, to me, that feels like they didn't have a solid plan for what they wanted to do from a, you know, expanding the story kind of perspective as far as DLC and that. And you know, there's all those expeditions and things, like I mentioned, extra secondary stuff, cool raid stuff. There's all that. Like, this game is jam-packed with content and experiences and things to do. Like, yeah, definitely. But, yeah, it's just, like, some of the stuff here is bizarre. Like, I feel like this game should have been, like, larger with more DLC-type, like, meteor things, and not kind of a really small, random little DLC pack several years later that doesn't really do anything. It just feels like, from a story perspective, we're just spinning the wheels and being stuck in place, and it's just weird. So yeah, I would say overall, like, the Division 2 is quite an excellent experience. Like, it is certainly worth playing. It's certainly worth your time. There's cool things. The main game, I think, is pretty great, and it's lots of fun. Specifically fun if you play cooperatively with people. I think you have a way better time playing this in a group, honestly. And then the Warlords thing is a nice sort of revisit, a little bit of nostalgia. It does some new things. You know, it's kind of like a bit of a hunt. And then this one, cool new mission areas, cool environments that you're fighting through. But, like, story-wise, it just doesn't really do much, and it just kind of gets silly from a technical standpoint, like, just as far as, like, the series being grounded. Like, I am fully anticipating the Division 3 is going to be some sort of weird cyborg future thing based on this. And it really doesn't make any sense to me why they would, like, it's just completely illogical to the story stuff. And I think if you play it, you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I think you'll get what I mean. Like, I just don't remember there being stuff like that in this game and the series overall. And then, like, yeah, that just seems to be what they did with this one. It was just weird. Like, just genuinely bizarre, and I don't know. It just feels off, but you know, other than that, everything runs fine, looks good. I think you'll be happy with this. Where is the... how do you enter this thing? Oh, over here? Enter the warehouse. Oh, what will we find? So yeah, you at least get more content with the game you're probably enjoying. Like, I'm trying to capture it from a perspective of, like, you know, oh, yeah, you get to have some fun, you get to do some stuff. Let's deconstruct all this stuff. I know some of this stuff's probably really good, but I don't care. It's, you know, you're always gathering new loot and gear, and it's like, who cares? I need a cleaner's key in this economy? Ugh. So yeah, pretty good experience, pretty good action. I just kind of wanted a bit more. Like, even this environment here doesn't feel like there's really a whole lot going on, right? Like, the map just feels kind of tiny. Like, it's got the density. I will say, what I love about The Division so much is it's one of the few shooters and games that actually makes you feel like you're doing urban combat in an actual urban environment. Like, this, it seems like such a struggle for video games to do this sort of a thing. So it's really, really cool that you get to do this, but, like, it's literally just ripped right from the, from the older games. It's with the Warlords, too. So, ugh, I'm really mixed on it. Like, it's okay. There's nothing really inherently wrong with it, but, like, you know, if you were hoping for something, like, really wild or exciting or really a big lead into what was coming next in the series, I think you're going to be pretty underwhelmed from that perspective. But if you just want more gameplay, more gunplay, more action, that's what they've given to you. More Division, and more fun, and more craziness, and, you know, co-op play and all that. So it really, I guess it just comes down to what your expectations are and whether or not this will deliver for you.